Hi, my name's Kevin and I am the Bad Back Gardener. In today's video, we're going to be selecting varieties of tomatoes for the upcoming season. Now, as you can see, I get a plethora of magazines from all different seed companies. I've got all kinds of magazines. I've probably got about 10 or 15 magazines here that I can choose from. When I do order them, I usually order them from, I try and hold it down to like 4 or 5 companies, because if I go and a lot of times I see nice things from each company, but if I order from every company, then you pay shipping on every order that you make, and it ends up costing a lot more than if you just order from a select few companies. You save on shipping because they all have like a minimum shipping cost, and it tends to be, you know, not a whole lot more to order more off one catalog. So you end up paying more for shipping if you order from a whole bunch of different catalogs. So I usually try and keep it down to 4 or 5. Last year I ordered off of 5 companies. I ordered off of Burpee, Territorial, Johnny, Jung Seeds, and also Park Seeds. This year I've kind of perused through the catalogs here, and I may change it up a little bit. I'm probably going to still order about 4 or 5 companies, but I may order off a couple or 1 or 2 different companies than I normally do. But just looking at varieties that I want to maybe try for this year. So last year for the tomatoes, these are the ones that I had. I had Park Whopper, which I ordered off Parks. I had the following from Territorial Seeds. I had Genuine, which is a cross between 2 heirlooms. Fantastic and Sweet, and I'm not sure I can pronounce this, Apertif. I'm not sure how that pronounced. I'm going to try, which was a smaller seed, or a smaller tomato. Those are off of Territorial. I also got a Big Beef off of Parks, and Super Tasty, which I planted, which I had old seeds. They were from Burpee. Not sure, you may still be able to get those from Burpee, but I used older seeds last year. And then of course 4th of July, which is my ultimate favorite tomato, so that automatically gets ordered, and that is off of Burpee, and that's the only place you can get it. So that's what I ordered last year for tomatoes. Most of these companies that you can order seeds off, they're going to be pretty reputable, and you're going to get seeds and they're going to grow. You're not going to probably have any problems with them not growing. You may have occasional issues with some seeds that they've gotten a bad batch, but I don't know that any of these companies that I get catalogs from are going to be places that you're not going to get anything good out of them. When you're picking out tomatoes, there's a ton of different tomatoes you can get, and some of the catalogs, they'll offer a couple pages worth of tomatoes, but there's other catalogs that they offer a ton of different varieties, and it can almost be overwhelming when you're looking at the catalog. For instance, this magazine or catalog is called Totally Tomatoes. Now they have other stuff in it. It's not totally tomatoes, but it's mostly tomatoes. And they have a whole catalog pretty much of different types of tomatoes, page after page. And like I said, it can almost be overwhelming when you're looking at them to try and pick something out that you want, because there's so many different descriptions of these tomatoes. They have peppers. They have a little bit of everything in here. They got a lot of peppers too. And then they got some fruits and vegetables in the back as well, but most of it in the catalog is tomatoes. So when you're picking out tomatoes, you got to figure out what you want. I grow what I call main season, my main crop of tomatoes. It is the ones that are going to be bigger tomatoes. They're going to be a lot of them. That's what I'm making my salsa with, and they're going to ripen over most of the summer. Then I usually grow like a cherry or a grape type tomato just for snacking. I'd go and pick a bowl of them, and I'll just eat them as a snack, or put them on a salad or something like that. And then I have my early tomatoes, which is the 4th of July tomatoes. They come very early. They're going to be the first ones I get during the year, and I'll usually get a lot of them. The thing about the 4th of July tomatoes is they also are a main season crop for me, because once they start in the early part of the season, they go and go until the frost hits. So they're usually the first ones to come, and they're usually my last ones to go as far as my tomatoes. So that's why they're my favorite tomatoes, and the taste is extremely good on those too. So, okay, when you go to pick out what kind of tomatoes you want from all these catalogs that you get, or that are available to us out there, you're going to have some choices to make. You're going to have to choose between heirloom and hybrid, and indeterminate and determinate tomatoes. Now, the heirloom tomatoes are ones that have really good flavor. They've been saved for a reason and passed down through the years because of that. However, they come with their drawbacks. They are all thin skinned, so they tend to crack more. They crack faster and easier than the heirloom than the hybrid tomatoes. And they also have lower productivity. So if you're just wanting to grow a few tomatoes and you want to grow the heirloom, that's what you're looking for. If you're looking for a lot of tomatoes, you may want to stick with hybrid tomatoes. Disease resistant. The heirlooms are not disease resistant. So the hybrids are developed now with more disease resistance than the heirlooms didn't have any. So those are the choices you're going to have to make for that. Either want to go hybrid or heirloom. Determinate or indeterminate tomatoes are how much space do you have? How long a period do you want to harvest it? The determinate tomatoes grow in a more confined space. You can grow them maybe in a pot or a patio or in your garden. If you're if you don't want to stake them, you want to grow a determinate tomato. They, however, only produce for so many weeks. They may only produce for 4 to 6 weeks, and then they're pretty much done. Your indeterminate tomatoes, they'll just keep growing and vining out. They'll keep going most likely until the fall season hits, and you get cooler temperatures when they start producing. But you'll need to stake the indeterminate tomatoes because they keep vining and they get larger. So your garden's going to be full, and a lot of people tell you you'll want to trim the indeterminate tomatoes down to 1 or 2 vines, or else they'll just keep sprawling all over the place. And your tomato production on those 1 or 2 vines may be better than if you just leave it go completely. And you may get smaller tomatoes and stuff. You may not get as nice as tomatoes if you leave them go all over the place. So those are your choices you have to make. Okay, so if you're looking through these catalogs, you can also, depending on your area of the country, they have different types of tomatoes. If you live in the cooler regions that you don't have as much of a growing season, if you look in these catalogs, you will be able to find tomatoes that have shorter growing season and that produce under cooler temperatures. So you'll be able to find those in these catalogs as well. And they also have, in this one here, they have a section for southern growers. So when you're in a hot, humid climate down south, they have specific type of tomatoes to grow down there that do better down there. So if you look at your catalog, make sure you read. You also want to read what flavor you want. Some of them in the descriptions, they'll have good, a lot of them have excellent and super. So some tomatoes are better tasting than others, but if you read the descriptions in them, you will be able to see, and then you can make your choice on what kind of tomatoes. But usually in the descriptions you can tell if they say it's a good tasting tomato, you're going to get a decent tasting tomato. But a lot of them will say exceptional taste, excellent taste. Those are the ones that are going to be higher in sugar probably and have a better flavor. So now for what kind of tomatoes we're going to order for my garden. We're going to order the Parks Whopper. I'm going to stick with that. And of course the 4th of July, I'm probably going to order Fantastic. But as for my main season crop this year, I'm going to order out of this catalog here. It's called Season Such. And I found the Parks Whopper is actually in this catalog, so I can order off of that. So I probably won't be ordering off of the actual Parks catalog this year. Simply, this catalog is maybe a little bit cheaper in price too. But I also found they have a Goliath series. And I'm going to order 2 types of that. I'm going to order the giant early bush hybrid Goliath, and I'm going to order the regular Goliath. And then they also have another tomato. It's called the original blue ribbon tomato. And it's supposed to compete with Goliath, so I'm going to try both of those for my main season crop this year. So, and then I'm probably going to maybe stick with the same grape tomato that I used last year, because I really liked it and it was really good. And then that'll be probably about 6 or 7 types of tomatoes what I'm going to end up growing. So. So it just comes down to what you prefer in your tomato. There's also the paste tomatoes, which I do not grow because I don't make anything with those. But so that is one tomato I really haven't grown a whole lot, and I don't really know a whole lot about which kind I like because I've never really grown them. So if you may want to read the descriptions if that's what you want to grow as a paste tomato, look and find out one and try it, or try several different kinds. So that's going to do it for this video on picking out tomatoes for your garden. Thanks for watching. Catch up with me on Facebook. And if your back ain't hurting, you ain't working.